One.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about the guy who has the best chin not in MMA. Who am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about Chris Rock, the comedian, little old Chris Rock, who was slapped rather firmly by Will Smith on the Academy Awards, almost like he was a prostitute and Will Smith was the pimp. Now, let me look real quick at Chris Rock's height. 5'10". Chris Rock is 5'10". Let's see Will Smith. I'm gonna guess Will Smith is about 6'2". Will Smith 6'2". Oh man. Not sure why I'm talking about this. This isn't directly related to MMA, but it is related to a slap and hand to hand combat. Not that Chris Rock fought back, not that he could have, to the man who, played the part of Ali. I'm gonna have to go with gonna have to go with Will Smith 10 out of 10 times in that fight. But I just want to say that this is unfortunate. Um, hmm, Man, how do I even start? I kind of blame this on the wife of Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. I know they've had some real issues in the past, but I do know at one point she cheated on Will Smith. He obviously cheated back, but she cheated with a 21-year-old man, which, ooh, it's kind of bad. Anyway, we know that she has kind of broken him down over the years. She's a very serious minded, introspective type of person. Whereas I think, at least initially, Will Smith was not that kind of person. He's kind of a, I mean, come on. We all remember him from, Fresh Prince of Bel Air and even some of his earlier music back in the day. He's kind of, a goofy guy. He's kind of like a Dunsky. And I think she has worked that right out of him. Just a couple of things during their interview. I remember, at one point, I remember a story where Will Smith had thrown a huge, massive birthday party for his wife Jada, and of course, he invited the elite of the elite in Hollywood. So all of Hollywood was there at the birthday party. Thinking that, hey, you know, here we are living this fairy tale life. We have all this money. We're both successful. My movie career has taken off. He wants to show his support and love for his wife. He does have a lot of love for his wife. There's no doubt about that. But he wanted to show that to her by virtue of giving her a huge party, with all the A-list celebrities there. Well, she basically made him feel horrible for having done this, and told him that that was all about him and all about his ego, and that was more important for him. And it was more of an indicator, a personal indicator to him, Will, that he had made it and he had arrived in life and things like that, and it was much less about his love for her. And I remember this being a very emotional story as they talked about it in their live interview. And I thought to myself, but he did that because he loved you. Nonetheless, if there was some sort of, personal gain or personal satisfaction in it for him, why does it matter? The ultimate reason that he did it was for your birthday and to celebrate your birthday. So, and I'm going to be getting to a point here, I promise. So Will Smith has obviously been the passive one in that relationship. She pretty much tells him what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right, and he just snaps to it. I don't know if he feels, you know, intellectually inferior to her, which you can hardly imagine that because Will Smith is obviously a very talented and intellectual individual himself. But he used to have a very light-hearted approach to life, and you've kind of watched that shift and change and drain out of him throughout the years since he's been married to Jada Pinkett. Now, I could sit here and go all day, trying to tell you stories about, some of the things that manifested in their interview and stuff like that that lead me to think that. But I want to get to the main thing that I'm going to discuss, which is the slap that was seen worldwide, the slap that was heard worldwide, where Chris Rock was nice enough to be the host. You know, Chris Rock is like got to be like the most harmless guy in history. Will Smith should never have slapped this man. He defaced, literally defaced, slapped the shit out of him, and that's literally what Chris Rock's response was when it happened. I mean, he handled this amazingly. I love the way he handled it. He literally just smiled and was like, "Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me." I love it, man. But you could tell he was kind of like didn't know what to do. Like, was that real? Was he just playing? But I'm sure to Chris, it felt like he wasn't playing because he obviously put a little sting behind it as well. But here's what it is that I want to talk about. So let me back up a little bit. So what happened was Chris Rock made a joke, some sort of joke about GI Jane, and he was referencing the hair of Jada. For those of you who don't know, Jada Smith struggles with what's called alopecia, which is basically hair loss. And so, she keeps it really short and cropped. But I guess the underlying point to all of that is that the reason she keeps it that short and that cropped is because she does struggle with something called alopecia. And obviously, Chris Rock didn't know this. He didn't know that he was doing anything wrong. And he made a comment about Jada and something to the effect of G.I. Jane. Not G.I. Joe, but G.I. Jane, which, you think of, you put those two together, think of a military cut, shortcut, that sort of thing. Well, he makes the joke. The camera immediately is showing Will Smith and Jada. Well, so so Jada stonewalls the joke. You immediately see her face go from to that. So you could see on her face immediately she was not having it, nor did she appreciate it. Whereas Will Smith did not stonewall the joke, and he actually started to laugh. And that's one reason that this moment was so confusing to a lot of people because Will Smith actually begins to laugh. Well, at some point, he looks over at his wife and notices she's not laughing. She's not laughing. Huh, you know, I'm going to go up and stand up for my woman. I'm going to go up and defend the honor of my woman. Walks up on the stage, and you can see Chris Rock's face. He's kind of smiling, like, as Will Smith is walking up on the stage. And I'm sure at that point he had no idea he was actually going to physically put hands on the guy. Walks up, slaps him right across the face in front of national television.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Completely humiliating and demasculating Chris Rock, who is a 5'10", skinny, even frail looking individual, and this massive 6'2" Will Smith, who played the part of Muhammad Ali in a movie, for God's sake. So the guy, for an actor, can at least throw some hands, and comes up and slaps Chris Rock. I thought it was completely unnecessary. Now listen, I 100% condone standing up for your woman and defending your woman's honor, but to do it on national television, on stage, when this is a harmless individual like Chris Rock, who obviously didn't realize the magnitude of what it may have meant to Jada or Will, for that matter, and, made a bad joke. He didn't research his joke before he said the joke. That was his bad. I'm sure he crammed, for material as he was asked to do this. I'm sure he's a very busy individual, and I'm sure he doesn't go and research the background of every person who may end up being a brunt of his joke to ensure that he's not crossing any lines. So that was his only mistake, was not fully researching the full background and health background of Jada Pinkett before actually making that comment. And so he got slapped because of it. I just thought that was pretty messed up. And of course, he tried to make it funny and everything, and he did a great job at that. I don't know how I would have handled that situation, but um, the fact that Will Smith initially laughed at the joke, and then seconds later, literally his whole affect changed. He walked up on stage, slapped him, and sat back down and started yelling, "Keep my wife's effing name out your effing mouth." Getting louder and louder. And of course, by this time, of course, everybody watching around the world, and I'm sure the people even live were like, was this set up? Is this even real? You got Will Smith, who's from his roots a very funny, goofy type guy, and we all know Chris Rock is, one of the hottest comedians in Hollywood, and so I think at first everyone was thinking, oh, it's a joke. You could even hear people laughing when the slap happened. People didn't realize it was real, but then once Will sat back down and started to yell, and his voice got louder and louder and louder, not only Chris, but everyone sitting in the audience, you could tell, finally got the memo, like, oh, this is no joke. He's not playing here. But I think that made Will Smith look weak, if I'm being completely honest with you, because he thought the joke was funny, and something changed when he looked at his wife and he saw that the joke affected her the way it did. And look, man, I'm sorry, were you doing it for her to actually defend her honor? Or were you doing it so that she wouldn't get mad at you for not doing something about it? Seems like the latter to me. Seemed like it was much less about him defending her honor and more about, oh shit, I better do something. Or I'm going to hear this later. That's what it looked like to me. Anyway, man, I love Will Smith. I lost a little bit of respect for him. I'm not going to say a little bit. I actually lost a lot of respect for him after he did that, which is a shame because he's actually one of my favorite actors. I've been a huge fan of his movies, and it's been awesome to see, his progression from, being this goofy, funny kid, putting out comedic raps and stuff like that with Jazzy Jeff back in the day to, being this mature actor in movies like The Pursuit of Happiness. And it's been crazy to see that progression, but there's been more of a regression in his personal life. And I think Jada has a lot to do with that. Now, look, I'm not sitting here condoning making a joke about, a physical ailment or a physical health condition that someone has. Obviously, I don't support that. It was a poor move on Chris Rock's part. But I guess my point is he obviously didn't mean anything by it, and he obviously didn't realize that he was doing something wrong. So 6'2", 215-pound Will Smith, should he have walked up on little 5'10", 170-pound Chris Rock and slapped him on national television? Nah, man, he shouldn't have done that. And especially after you saw how it transpired. He initially laughed, but then when he looked in the direction of his wife and saw how her face looked, then he felt like he needed to do it. That lets you know that he was doing it solely based on how she felt, not how he initially felt, And, that's what I have to say about that. But point being, it's now this huge thing that Colby Covington pressed charges on Masvidal when they're both fighters, and he got hit in public. But Chris Rock did not press charges when he got slapped on national television by Will Smith. It's kind of a funny comparison because a lot of people were giving Chris Rock credit and, talking junk about Colby. But I will say, haha, very funny. and it is funny to talk about because Chris Rock is not a fighter. Colby Covington is a fighter. So if you take it out of context, it is kind of funny and it's something to talk about. But if you put it back in context, a little bit different. Will Smith walked straight up to him, straight in his face, and open-handed slapped him. It's a little bit different than Masvidal running up behind someone in a public place and closed fist punching him twice and knocking out one of his teeth. Just a little bit different, guys. Just a little bit different. I'm not saying Chris Rock is right and Colby is wrong. I'm not saying Colby is right and Chris Rock is wrong. It's pretty safe to say that two completely different situations. But anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about that. I'm sure going to get some guys, well, yeah, you should have slapped him. Should have slapped him. Apparently, there's a lot of violent folks on the internet who just think it's okay to run up and hit, slap, punch anybody you want to anytime you feel like doing it. If you're offended by them, if they offended you, you have a right to slap them. And that's kind of what I've learned about people online. That's okay. Comment anyway, even if that's the way you feel. Comment. Let me know. But I think it was kind of a messed up thing. And that's what I got. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.